everybody, this meeting is being recorded, and that way we'll have a chance to review it later. Thank you for that. Okay, so let me go ahead and continue on. This is great, man. You guys, that was my little introduction. I hope you'll get a sense of where my heart is at. So here's our agenda today. We've already done the welcome. I want to do a tour of Google Meet. Now I'm going to share my screen. We're just going to kind of talk through features there. Then I want to give you a highlight of some features, and then we'll talk about, especially, I want to look at, you know, what's the easiest way to invite students and get them into our meeting. And then I want to, if we have time, I really would like to take some time for you to try a few things, and then we'll have closing discussion.
Sorry, Mr. Schwantz?
Yes, no problem.
Mark?
Hi.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I used Google Meets for when we, in March and so forth, till June. Yeah. And the easy thing about Google Meets is it's already on their Google Classroom, so they just have to click on it. You just tell them the time.
Right.
I don't know if you just did it before I got in, so that's what was easy about it.
Yeah.
But there were some, yeah. They can't go in until you're in, but it's like that's how you get in. So.
Right. So there's definitely a good what am I trying to say? You know, a good value to comparisons, and there may be some cases. Maybe you can make a good case for being able to use multiple platforms, but you know, Google Meet is, and I'm just going to mention a few things like in favor of using Meet more, and that one of them is it's integrated, like you said, with our Google apps and also with security. So if you have a student or, you know, someone with MyLUSD or stu.mylusd in our domain, they don't have to have a password. But if they're outside, like Kelly came in today, it prompted me. It said, Kelly from outside the domain would like to come in. Would you like to admit? It's kind of like the waiting room in Zoom. So, I mean, there's a few things.
I don't even know what computer I'm on. Sorry, we have so many little. I didn't come in on the school one. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
That was good.
No, you created a good scenario. So right. Okay, great.
There we go.
And you know, I didn't mention this, but you guys pretty much picked it up. I'm listening. So if you have something to say, just, you know, say it out. And you know, I'm looking at my slides sometimes, so I'm not seeing everybody. So you know, speak up. I tell my students that too. Although they have to know I'm watching them, right? That's got to be one of the hardest things, is keeping our eyes on them. Okay, so a tour of Google Meet. Let's look at launching, at features, and chat responses. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to present now, and I'm going to share my entire screen. And I have two monitors, but I'm going to share this one. Okay. So now you guys should be able to see. It'll be funny because you might see yourself in my window, but I'm just going to go through kind of quick. And you know, if you have questions, I might be able to point something out. So I'm going to hide that. Okay, good. So now you see my screen. I have right down here where it says you are presenting. I'm going to click on there and I'm going to stop presenting, and that makes changes my screen a little bit, and now that tab that I had my presentation is gone and hidden, right? Then a couple other things I wanted you to see over here. I have right now, you can see I opened up my window, and if I click over on the top, I have some different controls. There's the people in the meeting, and I can interact with the students. Ms. Ornelas, who's silent today, I can send a note. Different from Zoom, you don't have control to chat directly to an individual student. This is all for everyone. I don't know if that's a feature they'll add later. I haven't heard, but it simplifies it. I've noticed when I'm working with Zoom, sometimes there's a lot going on, and I might mistakenly send the message, or other participants will mistakenly send the message to everybody. They meant it for an individual, or vice versa, you know, and because there's a lot going on. So I would say, hi everyone, Here is the link. You know, I can just copy and paste a link. That's the link for the presentation, and that way it's there, and you know, or someone else could share a link. That's just an example. Go back to people. It's just a couple other features. You click on the caret next to the individual person. You can put them on a pin or pin them to the screen.
We can't see what you're doing though. We don't see your shared screen.
Oh, let me. Thank you. I better go back.
Removed it. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let me share my screen. I don't know. Yeah, sometimes I've had that happen before. It was kind of embarrassing when I was with my students, and I don't know how long before I heard somebody say, I think it was one of the parents, like, yeah, we can't see your screen. I was like, wait a minute. Okay, how are we doing now? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, affirmative. So, yeah, so what I was showing was you can click on the caret, the little upside down V next to the person, and then you can pin them. So let's say, who wants to be featured here? Tanya? All right, so I'm gonna just click on her caret, and then I'm gonna pin. And that makes her come up for everyone to see. So this one way you can use this is if you're having students share, then you can make sure that everybody sees her if you're sharing your screen and you're pinning her to your screen, you know, because I don't think you can force everyone to see someone. I think you can do that in Zoom, but anyway, this is a quick way to do that. Okay, Tanya, you're done being featured. Or you can just click on the icon, and it's your turn, Kelly. Okay, you're done. Okay, Jacqueline, your turn. Oh, that's right, your speaker's not. Anyway, having some fun. So, you know, this you could use this in just kind of a little game, you know, like, okay, you tell the first part of the story, and then you keep going down the lane. Oh, it's my turn. Ah. Okay, you could pin yourself. Okay, so there's that. Down here under more options, just see the three dots. I can stop recording. I can change my layout. Right now they have this tiled view. They've added that, right? So that's kind of nice. And let's see here. I'm going to go to turn on captions. So I don't know if you've tried this feature, but it's pretty fancy. If you do have someone in the audience who is hearing impaired or who could benefit by having text. Of course, it's not perfect, and there will be times that it needs to be corrected, but for the most part, period. Anyway, I feel like I'm doing text-to-speech. So there's that. Give it a try, okay? And there might be some times you want to do that. Okay, let me see. Turn off captions. So I just go to the same three dots and I turn it off. Go to settings, use your phone for audio. The only time I would use that if I was having really limited bandwidth, and I could set up a session with my computer or with my phone, you know, with the Google Meet app, and instead of sharing my video, I could just share, you know, my profile and then use the phone for audio. That would be a way to, you know, set up a meeting on the fly if I had to. Or if I had students that have limited bandwidth, they could do the same thing. So I don't have a clue how I'm doing on my agenda here. Let me go back. Can you guys see my screen? I suppose you can. This is, you know what I'm going to do? I think we're going to, if it's okay with you guys, I think I'm going to put some of the more advanced features in like a second little bit with Google Meet. Would that be okay?
Sure.
Because I don't, like I said at the beginning, I don't want this to feel like you have to know everything, but I wanted to get into some of these things that I think would help with engagement. So yeah, and it looks like we're already at about minute 26 here. So let's see here. Let me go back to stop. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to present again, but this time just that Chrome tab again. I want to look right back at my agenda. All right, good. You guys can see that okay? So like what I'm talking about here is the Pro Toolkit stuff, the backgrounds, the video, whiteboard, and extensions. Those are all things that can really, really help, but they're not really part of like the essentials, right? And so let's focus on some of these other features. So we're going to go ahead. And then if you have something that's like a burning question, then just speak up. This is one of those to try. It's called Nod, and I put the link here. If you click on Nod, you'll be able to go to that extension, or you can just search for Nod in the Chrome extension store. And it's great because it lets the students raise their hands, give a thumbs up, and then wasn't to mention that other feature with the grid view? Was that Kelly? Yeah, you mentioned that. Do you remember the name of that extension that lets you change your grid view?
It's just grid view. It's grid view for Google Meets. Add grid view for Google Meet. Yeah.
Okay, great. And you know, not all the extensions are super great. You know, sometimes you try it and then you don't use it anymore. But I think this Nod one would be worth giving a link to the students in Google Classroom and saying, you know, install this on your Chromebook. You know, it might be worth it. Okay, so let me go right over here back. Features to try. Okay, so I just wanted to talk about a couple practical things. You know, I use headphones, and they're kind of clunky, and I feel like I sometimes have to speak too loud so I can hear myself. You know, because I don't hear my voice as it's going through. But the important thing is I'm hearing the students better if I have something like, you know, earbuds or something. So think about that. It's even a pair of, you know, really simple headphones can help. So that's one practical thing. And then also, what you can do is let me share this tab instead. Right now I'm just looking at the bottom of my Google Meet. Of course, the red phone is to hang it up, but so that's, you know, I'm sure you know how to do that. And then you see, if you put a profile image, I just stopped my video. You should see my little Bitmoji come up. Did you see that?
Yes.
Now I turn my video on. Did it change for you?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so there's my video. Yes. Hello. Yes. And then, you know, so I think it'd be helpful to have an engaging picture, you know, something that the students could relate to. And that way it's not just like, you know, the ghost picture, you know, that's usually like a profile picture or your initial or something. So that's one thing I think that can do, you know, it's just a really simple thing. But, you know, I don't know about you, but I don't always like to see my picture like, hello, you know, I like to see my picture all the time, so I'd like to make it fun for the students. Okay, great. How are we doing on time? You guys, everybody's okay for the, let's say the remainder? We have time, everything's good? Yep. And before I move on to the next thing, I wanted to make sure, was there anybody that had like one of those burning questions that I want to make sure we cover? You can put it in the chat too if you want to. Okay, so great. I'm going to go back over here to my, okay, great. I hear you there. On this slide, I wanted to see if this video will play for us. Yes, here we go. This is a little capture from one of my TK class meetings.
My mom made me laugh and funny, and my dad on it kissed me.
It looks like you guys are playing at the park. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's my dad, and that's me. That's my dog, and that's my mom got silly.
Oh man. Oh man, that Adrian. I tell you what, the way did you guys see that? Was that clear? Did you see it, Adrian? The way that he looked up at the screen like this, it looked like to me like he was looking through a window, and it was like I was on the other side of that window. It was just like surreal. And then that maybe because his work was like right there, and so he was like, you know, talking about his work, and it was couldn't understand what he was saying very well, but just that moment of that, it was like that one-on-one. Now, the other students were there in the meeting, but that little piece of the video covered that, like it was almost like we were having like an interview. And man, it just gives me chills. It was kind of it was kind of one of those. When I finished that meeting that day, I was like, yeah, this is gonna be okay, because it was discouraging some of those times, trying to get a hold of everybody and make contact. So that was, boy. So my point in that video is that there are many ways to get response, and so you could put the question that you're wanting to elicit the response in the Google Classroom. You could do a survey question in Google Classroom and have the students can have it open at the same time they're in your meeting. And then you could have the results open on a different part of your monitor or on a different monitor. And then you could be monitoring that live during the meeting. Does that kind of make sense as I'm describing it? Okay, so the one method that I showed is just having the students talk about their work with the work being displayed, and it's very structured. It's not just a sharing time, but it's okay, and this was Adrian wasn't the first. There were others who had kind of talked through their work. And then another way to get engagement, of course, is to do surveys, and you can now Google Classroom is not the only place. You could use a Google form, and you can monitor the results as they're coming in as well. Would anybody like to take a look at that, or have you tried that kind of response before?
No, I haven't tried it. The students have shared their work, but
Right.
It was through video. It wasn't like what you recorded there, where they have their work on one side and they're presenting it. So, I mean, I really like that way.
Okay. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, it also kind of becomes a little digital portfolio, because they could have that piece of the video for them, of them sharing. It's kind of like truly like virtually in class. You know what I mean? So that's good. And then if you guys want to, maybe what we could do is let's do the survey for today's session, and we'll do it live. And I'll show you what I mean by getting the engagement like live during the meeting. So I'll show you guys that as we finish up today. Sound good?
Sure.
That'll be good. Okay, let's try that. Okay, good. Well, let me just move right along here. Oh wait, forgot to share this tab. Here we go. So I wanted to spend just a little bit on some of these things to launch meetings. And Kelly, you already mentioned one, and that's just the launch from Google Classroom. So I'm going to go to Google Classroom and a different tab. Here, let's use this one. Give me a second as I load that up here. There we go. Going to Google Classroom, and I'm going to show you how to turn that feature on. So let's go to my my Google Classroom, you see here, right underneath the title, it has the link to my classroom meeting. So any of my students that are in there will be able to click right there and then launch the meeting. You go to settings. It's down here in this under general, and then you can turn it on here, or you can turn it off. You can copy it. You can say visible to the students or not. Okay, so you have a couple little features in there to do that. You know, this is nice. You copy and you can paste that in a communication, something like that. So, oh yeah, don't forget to save that, and that'll make it pop up on your right here on your Google, on your banner in Google Classroom.
Mark.
Yes, ma'am. Who's that?
Can you? Okay, so you went to, because I just had them. I told them via Class Dojo. I set up the meetings. So you went to settings. Can you do that one more time? I'm sorry. Just so make.
No problem.
Thank
I'm glad.
you.
Yeah, I'm glad. That's what you guys are doing great. That's what I wanted you to do, is speak up so I can hear you. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to click on settings.
Okay.
There's my class settings, and I just scroll down to the Google Meet little section.
Okay.
And it automatically generates this unique code for you, and then you just toggle this one right below it, visible to students. It's on. That'll pop it onto the menu there, and you'll be able to see it. Or you turn it off. So let's do that. I'm going to turn it off. See, this class is already going to be archived because I'm not teaching TK anymore, and it should see. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little eye with a cross out. That means that it's visible to me, but not to the students.
So third grade's the lucky team because they have you on it. They have the tech guy. That's good.
Hey, I'm the lucky one. I'm not the lonely TK teacher anymore.
Oh.
No. Hey, six years made a good run, right? Okay, so good question. And then listen, another great way to share your meet is with Calendar. So are you guys ready for this dive? I'm just going to dive a little bit into calendar settings, okay? And you can spend a lot more time on this, but it really is awesome. Okay.
That's how I set my Google Meet, through Calendar, because I did not know that we were able to do it through Google Classroom, but I figured I can do it through Calendar. It was easier too.
Yes. Yeah. So, should I do that? Go ahead and take a okay.
Yes, because I did everything through the classroom, so I'm the dummy when it comes to scheduling anything through Calendar.
Ain't no dummies here. Okay, so no dummies. All right, we're gonna go right here, and I'm gonna go to Calendar. There we go.
Wait, no. Where is here? I can't see.
Sorry. I just in my window. I hope you can see it now. Did it go to Calendar?
Yes, it did.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a couple ways to get there. One way to get there is just to go to my waffle. You see how it pops up there?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm just gonna go to the calendar icon.
Okay.
But another way, my usual go-to is I just click on the bar at the top and I just type in calendar. Calendar.google.com. It's like a shortcut. Okay, so I'm going to set a meeting. I'm going to use Google Calendar. So let's just say it'll be this afternoon, right? And we'll call this follow-up with Kelly. Kelly's got questions and I have the answers, right? So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the Add Google Meet Video Conferencing. They used to say Hangouts, but they've already started changing it. Hangouts is going away, and we got Google Meet. And then that's it pretty much. I mean, I can add details, but here's where I'm going to add Kelly. Now, Kelly, you're going to get this invitation, but it's going to go to your district mail.
Okay.
And you're on vacation. You can just ignore it. Okay. So it's not going to go to you though until I save. So I click on save, and then I'm going to say send. And that sends her that little Google Calendar meeting thing, and attached to it is the Google Meet. So it's kind of all like one size fits all. It's kind of cool.
So if I have 22 students, would I have to type in all of their names to invite them?
No, you don't. Ha, good question. All you got to do is type in the name of your Google Classroom, and they're on automatic mailing list. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Also,
and then-
what I did, Mr. Schwantz, I copied the link and just pasted it onto Google Classroom. And then from there, they just clicked on it too.
Yeah, do it. Do it to it. Yeah, definitely. And then also, I would send it out to the parents because my kids are so little, right? I send it to the parents, to the remind, to this, to that, everybody, so everybody didn't have an excuse. I didn't get your message. Yes, you did. I sent it to everybody in the whole world. So, all right, good. Well,
sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I just thought since they were, little, I just did it. I just felt the easy way. Just go into Google Classroom, click on the link. I sent the parents, via Class Dojo because that was our messaging for them.
Yeah.
The time, so they knew what time we met every week, and then they would just click on at that time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
but now
great.
I know another way of doing it, which is awesome, which is cool. I didn't know how to do it through a calendar, so I learned something now.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think that this is kind of like a good topic for like really thinking about what works best, and then helping each other, because I think it depends on the parents and how they're connecting, and the students, like what kind of device they have, and this, that, and the other thing. And I mean, our goal is to get as many active as possible and engaged, and at the same time, it'd be easier if we just always went to Google Classroom and you knew the time, and you just show up. But I'm more of the sense of, no, it doesn't cost me anything. It's a little bit more time. I just copy and paste these messages and I mail it to the parent mailing list and to the students, and I just want to make sure that they have them. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, and if they tell me I'm sending out too much, then I'll back it off. Mm-hmm. And then also, like, the cool thing about, if I can get them to using the Google with Gmail, then and calendar, then the parents will get a notification if they put the student. Let me start. I'm sorry, I'm talking a little bit fast. I get excited about this, but if the parents have a Gmail and I put their Gmail in the calendar event, then they'll get a reminder if they have reminders, set up, which is really nice. And then I noticed that sometimes it was like right after the reminders would go out, like 10 minutes is like the standard thing, then parents would start getting the students to log in. I don't know if that was just, I don't know if that's actually what was happening, but it seemed like it to me. Mm-hmm. And then the students are going to have their Google device, and if it's on and they've logged in, then they'll get a reminder too.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because that was a lot of times my parents would message me and say, "Oh, I forgot about the meeting," or they'd come in late. So no, that's actually really good.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, I could tell some stories. It started to become such a fun routine with the students, and I didn't have meetings every day, but it was, we were pretty short. But they just started getting to some routines. Like one of my boys, every time he showed up, he had a different pet. I was like, wait. How many pets do you have? Fish and a snake and a lizard and a rabbit and a hamster. And these people living in an apartment. I'm like, what's going on here? I just give them a hard time. Like they have a pet store. Okay, you guys.
They just might have a exotic pet store.
Yeah, they might. There's Adrian. That's right. Okay, so I'm going to just go back and let me say that there's a lot more, and I wanted to just kind of give you the sense that hey, this is kind of like the easy button, and we're here to support each other. And once these things become like more familiar to you, it's like, it really helps with some of the stress, because it's like you don't have to worry about some of these things that kind of be automatic,
Yeah,
And then
usually I start to practice with another friend that's a teacher. So we practice with each other and she'll send me a link and we'll practice and then I'll send her the link. It's practice because the truth with these break, I already forgot most of the stuff I did. So I
yeah,
have to go
yeah,
back and refresh and
yeah.
remember how I use Google Meet and Google Classroom, how I added all the students.
hmm
It's just refreshing again.
yeah, yeah. That's great. Yeah, and sometimes it's true. After a little while, it becomes a little bit less impersonal, and I think that's what we're really after. Is after the first week, maybe the students will really try to start seeing us on the other side of that screen, and each other too, and have a more personal experience, right? Well, I am looking at my agenda, and I'm realizing that, like I had mentioned earlier, it looks like this pro toolkit stuff that I had envisioned. It's all good, but we just don't have time, and that is totally okay. But this kind of review talked about ways to launch, and we've done a little work with chat. I've talked about responses, different ways to get responses, and sharing our screen. I've done some different ways to do that, maybe some modeling. So what I had thought about was at this point giving you guys a chance to try some things. I think that we're going to need to probably do this asynchronously. So, in that, I have another session tomorrow afternoon with a few other teachers that weren't able to make this time. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to propose that I leave the slide deck open. If you want to share something like a screenshot that you have done with Google Meet, uh, I was wanting to ask, would you like me to demonstrate that? I'll show you how to do a screenshot. Okay, and we'll put it in the slideshow. I'll show you those two steps. And I'm not saying that this is any kind of requirement or anything like that, but it just would encourage, I think, each other as we try it. So let's say I'm going to share this screen, and I don't want to capture my tabs at the top. So on my computer, this one is a PC. It's usually F11, where I can make the whole screen. Yeah, there you go. So now you see my whole screen is being shared, but you can't see my tabs. And then at the top of my keyboard, on this being a PC, I have a print screen button. I'm just going to press it. I'm just going to press the print screen button. Now I'm going to go back to, there we go. Now I can see my tabs again, and I'm going to go to my Google slide presentation. Whoop. And so I'm going to put that. Oh, wait a second. I'm presenting. There we go. I had to get out of presentation mode. Okay, so I am going to put that screenshot right in here. See that little iPad? So I'm going to paste. Now you see, I captured my two screens. You see that image there? I'm going to crop it. And then I'm going to put that guy right in here. Now I want it to fit, so I'm just going to kind of resize it. And that's basically like a little snippet. You know what? I think I'm going to crop that just a little bit more, so we can all be right there. Get over there. Okay, done. Okay, so now for this, I'm going to make a little note, just so that we can, have reference. And Anybody have a word about today's time? The speaker was wonderful. No, good questions. What else? Ideas? Session. And the date today is 8/4. Is it the 4th? It's the 5th.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the 5th.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to propose that we just, if we need to add some more slides to that, that would be fine. But what I'm doing is I'm going ahead and showing you another way to bring the engagement into the Meet. You can have a collaborative process where the students are editing directly onto the same Google slide, and then you can share that as they're working through the writing process, maybe share their slide, or you could even make groups that are working on that together. So that's just a thought as we were closing. Now, I made a promise as we closed, I would share the survey. So I'm going to copy the link to the survey, and I'm going to send it over to you. Wait a second here. This is the pre-survey, so let me find the post-survey. It was in my document. Let me see here. There we go. If we go down to the end of the, there we go. That's the one. Okay, so if you look in the chat, you'll see the link to the post-survey. And as you guys are filling it out, I'm going to put the results up on the screen. Excuse me. Okay, good. So go ahead and go to that link there, and let me share my screen again. There we go. So good. So I'm going to go to Drive. I'm going to find that form real quick and see it as we're filling it out. I think this is it here. Yeah. So you guys see my screen with the boxes and the post-training survey? Yes? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on the responses tab and see if it populates as we fill it out. As we're kind of entering into this final part of our meeting, I wanted to first say again how much I appreciate you guys for joining me today. I know you had other things to do, and but I am greatly encouraged. As I was starting to do this preparation to do, the Google Trainer application, I thought I had to really think, okay, do I really believe in this stuff? And I thought, you know what? Yes, if it helps the students and it helps us do our job better, I can believe it. It's a positive thing. And there are definitely things to compare. Like we were saying, what's better, Zoom or Meet? Everything has its advantages, but I think that's important that we can just find ways to make our jobs easier and make things better for the students. That's my 2 cents worth. Okay, let's see if I can find that form. So, did anybody fill out the survey? Oh yeah, we got one. So here we go. We have our first response, and how would you rate your overall experience? One of them is on 4. That's good. And then you can just quickly see. And we're not really going to analyze that, but we're just using it as an example. I can see this working as a really short, like a 2-question exit ticket, and it would be a really really simple way. But not only does it work when you're sharing that on your screen, but then you have the data, and you could use that for some kind of formative assessment, I imagine. Anything else about today that would be good for reflection? Maybe there's something a question that I didn't get to that we would like to add. I'll put it into the ideas and questions.
You check. I had a question, Mr. Schwantz. Can you do breakout rooms, like in Zoom?
Oh, good. There's good news on that. That Google is saying that by September 1st, they're going to release breakout rooms for Meet.
Oh, so they don't have that yet. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Now, it's not there yet. Now, in the notes here, I put a workaround. Basically, I found one workaround that somebody recommended. It's kind of like a hack, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what they did was they used Jamboard. So like here, I don't know if you can see my screen,
Mm-hmm.
but I created a Jamboard, and Jamboard is another Google app. It's like a virtual whiteboard. You can share this with your students. And let's say these students that are in group 1, I would put a link to a different Google Meet. And they would all go to that link at the same time. And then I would have to monitor that somehow. I would pop in and out of the different meetings to kind of monitor. That's the only way I can think to do it. Or if I had an assistant, they could monitor those groups as they're going. So the nice thing about it with Google Meet is you don't have passwords and issues like that. But I'm not sure how it will work with our restrictions. I probably, as the teacher, would have to be logged into each meeting concurrently. Have them all open on my screen, and then just kind of monitor them. So I think that's possible too. So I would start these concurrent sessions with Google Meet, and I guess another way to monitor it would be, I don't know if it's possible, but maybe record them all at the same time. I don't know. Everybody, I want to show you how to do the recording as we finish here, as I promised that we were going to record. And so you can see my screen. I'm just going to go stop recording. It gives me a